So today we're going to do a little bit of an update, what we've been up to the past few months, and then just some general reminders. We reached out to the Coast to Coast team, as well as some of our clients to see what they wanted us to remind you of. So we're going to do kind of a summary of what we've been up to in those basic notary signing agent reminders. So the main thing I've been up to, other than just my general work that I'd have to do every day, is working on this textbook for you. We're going to call it the Notary Signing Agent Textbook. And it really is everything that a notary needs to know to become a notary signing agent. And even if you're already a notary signing agent, this is really going to take what you do to the next level. We provide an industry overview and loan product overview. This is going to help you set up a foundation for what you know. The better you understand where you, sorry, my printer's talking to me. The better you understand where you fit in the industry and how to explain loan products, what they mean, the better you're going to do, the more confident you're going to be at the signing. So that's the first thing we do. We also provide a description of all of your responsibilities. So from accepting signings to requesting payment status, we're going to detail exactly how you fulfill your responsibilities. And all along the way, we provide insider tips and tricks. They're going to help you to avoid some of the common pitfalls and challenges associated with being a new notary. We used our 20 plus years of being in the industry, being notaries and running a signing company to outline everything that you could get yourself into and how to avoid it. And the best part, and really the thing that I think everybody really wants, is we're going to provide full samples of loan documents, and not just refis, loan modifications, HELOCs, deed in lieu. So you're going to see a sample of what you're going to get day in, day out as a notary signing agent. We plan on making this a physical hardcover book. It's going to kind of look like those yearbooks you got in high school. So kind of a big book, and as well as an ebook available. So you'll be able to, if you'd like, if you're like me and like to have physical books, put it in your notary bag for easy reference, or have it on your phone to be with you wherever you are. And the price point, we haven't released the exact price point, but it's going to be the price of a loan signing. So you do one loan signing, it's going to pay for this book. And we know that this book is going to help you get more and more loan signings. So for a little fee, you'll be able to invest in yourself and get a lot of really great information. And this is just an image of the cover and what it's going to look like. All right, so what I wanted to do was show you the table of contents so you can see what's in the book. There is a preface. That preface, I think of it like a love story too. Oh, whoa, sorry about that. It's like a love letter to my mom, that preface. It details how Coast to Coast started and the principles on which our company is based. If you apply those principles, you're going to have success as a notary signing agent. So we thought that would be helpful to give you a little idea of the face behind the company. Section 1 is about the business. That's going to be that foundation on which you can build your signing agent career. We're going to talk about the industry, the different players involved, who you report to, how we all work together. We also talk about why working with a signing company is beneficial. So, and I know you've heard it, there's a ton of gossip out there. And it seems that there's a lot of competition between individual notaries and signing companies. But the truth is, you don't really want to run a signing company, and you don't want all the work that a signing company has. It is not an easy job. And we kind of detail what it takes, all the way from insurance that's required to policies and to staffing. And I hope that what it'll do is just make you realize that we're actually partners, right? There really shouldn't be competition. There's going to be some signings that you as an individual notary are just not going to be able to get unless you're working with a signing company for various reasons that you'll learn in the book. So it's really to kind of let you know what is involved, open up that transparency so you can see really what it takes and how it works to be a signing company. We also talk about the main loan products that you're going to deal with day in and day out. This is helpful because you're going to be able to understand what you're working with. If you understand the loan that you're presenting to a signer, they're going to see that confidence, and it's going to help you better present those documents. And overall, it's going to help your client industry support, as well as, like I said, at the signing individually. We also talk about signing agent state restrictions. So some of us are in states that regulate how and who does a signing. So if you're in certain states, witness states, attorney states, Texas, you have some state restrictions that you have to be mindful of. So we give you a basic overview. Even if you're not in those states, it's going to be helpful, because what if you're signing a set of docs where the subject property is in those states? You still have to know about those restrictions and kind of abide by their regulations. So that's going to be super interesting, really, for all signing agents. Section 2 breaks down the notary signing agent process. So this is everything from accepting signings, how to prepare for signings, what to do at the signing if an issue arises, all the way to payment, right? How do I get paid? How do I request status of a payment? What to do if there's an issue at payment? We also talk about what it takes to be a favorite notary signing agent. And again, we kind of emphasize the principles by which we run our business that you can implement in your own personal business. Like I said, these principles have made us successful, and we know that if you apply them, you'll find that success as well. And then section 3 is really the best part of the book. My husband, Eli, my partner, he says, this is really what you guys want to know. These are the loan documents. So you're going to get a sample of a full set of loan docs. It's not a personal borrower's set of docs. So names have been changed, lenders have been changed, but it is a full set: escrow docs, loan docs. You'll get a refinance set. You'll get a HELOC set, a set of seller's docs. There's a lot of variation with seller's docs, but this is a real typical seller set that you'll see. Loan modification docs and deed in lieu documents. So you're going to get a full set of those, as well as we're going to include all 50 states jurat or acknowledgements. So you're going to see the acknowledgements that every state's going to use, because every state's a little different, as well as how to complete your notarizations. So next up, I want to show you what our sample set of documents is going to look like. So it's going to be a full set of loan documents, but to the left of the first page of a document, there's going to be a description page. So for example, the note. This is our most important document in a refinance set of docs for the signer, because this is their promise to pay, right? So it's important. You'll see the full document, so all 3 pages of the note, but to the left, there's that description. So we describe what the document is. And instead of breaking down every sentence of the note, because the truth is you really don't need to know what every sentence means, we show you what to bring to the borrower's attention. So at the signing for the note, for example, you're going to want to show them the loan amount, the name of the lender, the interest rate, their payment information. We're also including boxes of things that you want to look out for to avoid certain mistakes that are common with new notaries. So like, for example, that very bottom box here, it shows an image of the signature line of the note. There's always going to be this wording seal in parentheses. New notaries like to stamp that because they think seal means their stamp, right? Well, on the note, this form is never notarized. So that word seal on the borrower's signature line is just referring to the borrower's signature, their legal signature, their seal. So new notaries will see that and start getting stamp happy and stamp wherever it says seal. This is a big no-no. When this happens, you're going to have to get the doc re-signed. Everyone's going to be mad. So there's also on these description pages little tips and tricks that if you follow, you're going to have a perfect signing, even if it's your very first signing. So we're going to give you all of the mistakes that we see day in and day out. That's super valuable, right? Especially when you're new and you're not an insider yet. You need to know what we know, what we see every day, the mistakes. So we're really excited about this book. We think it's going to be really helpful. If I had something like this when I was a notary, I would have probably saved coast to coast a lot of money in errors that I made, and overall just felt more confident. So that's really our goal, is that you have something that's everything you're going to need. All right, so hopefully we're going to get this book sold to you September 1st. That's when we plan on opening up the purchasability. Right now we're working on getting it published, so making it an ebook and printing the physical copy, but the content's practically done. We're making sure it looks pretty for you. I'm a horrible speller and my grammar is terrible. So we got to make sure that it makes sense and looks good for you guys. But September 1st, that's when we're going to start taking our pre-orders and getting that ready to ship out to you or email to you if you're going to purchase the ebook. So stay tuned. Every week we'll give you a little update of how it's going. All right, next up, let's go over some reminders. So again, this is from our team and these are from our clients. So some of them are really basic. Some of them go into some specific documents we've seen some issues on. So we'll just jump right into it. All right, what about scanning and faxing back documents as well as shipping? So this is about facilitating the return of completed documents. Sometimes you're going to be asked to scan back. If that's a requirement on the file, and on whatever platform you're on, there should be a section that says, scan back requirement, yes or no. If it's required, do not neglect to do it. Sometimes lenders can fund loans based off of scans, or maybe you're dealing with like a miscellaneous file. So maybe just a few pages that are being signed after the loan documents. Those might be funding conditions and they can't fund the loan based on that. I'm actually right now waiting on a scan of 2 documents. This loan needs to fund today. And if I don't get those scans immediately, and hopefully they've already done them, the loan's delayed in funding. And this is a kind of loan where they're getting money, right? You don't want to delay someone getting money. They could need it for a variety of reasons, right? Maybe they're starting construction on their home and they need that money so where they can break ground. Or maybe they're paying someone off through the loan. Maybe it's one of those situations that someone's quitting their claim to the property, right? They're signing off on the property and they need to get paid. So not scanning can have repercussions. So if you see it's a scan back requirement, don't think, well, if I ship it out, maybe I don't have to scan, because most of the time you're going to be wrong. Now, when it comes to when you should scan, I know that as a signing agent, we need to book ourselves to be making good money, right? That's why having a way to scan on the go, maybe like a tiny scanner or Adobe Pro on your phone, or even a little mini scanner that you can keep in your car. Scanning back within 2 hours of the signing is always best. Like I said, people are waiting on those scans most of the time. And don't let that stop you from shipping those. Ship immediately after scanning, if at all possible. Sometimes the file will only require a scan back, but most of the time it's a scan back and a ship. So don't hold on to those docs. Scan them and then ship them. Another note is to scan everything in one PDF, not individual attachments. That requires you to get to know your scanner, right? Because some scanners will scan one form at a time and then it'll either add it as like an image or an individual PDF. You want the ability to scan everything into one PDF. Sometimes new notaries will upload, upwards of 100 individual PDFs onto our file. That makes it almost impossible for us to compile. It takes a super long time, and that package is going to be a very huge size for emailing and uploading. And that kind of leads us to our final point on scanning. It's not a bad idea to invest in Adobe Pro DC. It's $14 a month. I think it's cheaper if you buy for the year. Don't invest in it if you're a brand new notary and haven't done too many signings yet. Wait until you've made some money being a notary, but you might find it's a valuable asset. I didn't have it when I was a full-time notary, but if I went back to being a full-time notary, I would absolutely get it. You can do so much with it. You can edit PDFs, so you can pre-fill in your notarization information. You can combine attachments So what if you did scan individually? You can compile them all into one PDF. And then the best part is you can shrink packages. So sometimes if your package size is too large, you can't even email it or upload it anywhere. So you have all the scans, but they're useless because you can't forward them to the people you need to. But with Adobe Pro DC, you can shrink the package size and make it tiny and easy to ship or easy to upload and send off through email. So it's not a bad thing to invest in. I love mine. I need it. If I don't have it on my computer, my work is really hard. So as a notary, it's helpful. Something to think about for sure. Okay, what about shipping? This is big. You must ship the documents the same day, if at all possible. So if your signing is happening, before 4 p.m., get those docs out the same day. If the signing is happening in the evening, the UPS, FedEx cutoff times have already gone for the day. So the next morning is fine. You don't have to ship them back at 9 p.m. because they're not going anywhere, right? They're just going to stay at FedEx until the following day. But if the signing is done early enough to make FedEx or UPS drop-off times, ship them. And if that's not possible, please communicate with us. I know sometimes, and I know it because I've been guilty of it, we'll forget to ship. And then we think, oh, I'll just drop them real quick and then not say anything. Someone's going to find out most of the time, even if it's not that same day or the next day, like 3 days later when funding didn't happen on schedule, they're going to come back to the notary and say, why didn't we get these docs until, 3 days after the signing? So communicate. In this case, bad news is better than no news. We'd rather you say, oh, shoot, I missed FedEx. So we can come to our client and warn them. That's super important. And trust me, I've done it. There's one time I held on docs for like 3 days more. Not just one time, by the way, I've done it many times. But one time I held on to docs and I realized it like at 7 p.m. at night. Everyone's gone at escrow. So I hand delivered them super early the next day, but they still asked me why they were late. They're still mad. So it would have been better for me to let everyone know that night and just tell them this is what I'm going to do to fix it. Now, what about our labels? Sometimes we just get in the zone. We're given a label, we drop using that label. The thing is, everybody in this industry can make mistakes, right? So escrow can give us a wrong label, lender can give us, signing company can give us the wrong label. So always, be mindful of what you're shipping and where you're shipping it. This is going to save you and whoever hired you a lot of time. So for example, if the label says it's going to Quicken, a lender, but the escrow company is an escrow company, let's just, best escrow company, right? Most of the time, loan documents are returned to the escrow company. So if you see maybe two labels or you see the labels going somewhere where it normally isn't, ask the company that hired you. Because you could save the day. That happens all the time with a lender Quicken, who always includes a label for escrow to ship their documents back. And notaries will ship the docs to Quicken. And those docs are now like in the Bermuda Triangle of Quicken. They're just not going to be found. And if they are, it's a real miracle. So basically what happens is we have to get those docs re-signed. So look at the label. For loan documents, it's almost always the labels going back to escrow. So make sure that that's correct. We've also had labels given to us where the label is going back to the borrower. So you sign docs with the borrower and then you're shipping them back to the borrower. It doesn't make sense, right? So look at what you're doing. Be really present when you're shipping documents. Also, you could swap labels. This happens more than we'd like to admit, where a notary will have multiple signings and they'll swap filed labels, and docs will get shipped to a wrong escrow company. And now two clients are angry because they got someone else's docs and they still need the correct documents. And sometimes coordinating can take a minute and it delays everything. So remember, we have really tight turnaround times. So focus on what you're doing, slow it down, make sure the label is for where it really ought to be going. And this is really especially important for split signings. So if multiple notaries are handling signings, the first part notary must ship the docs to either the second part signer or second part notary. This week, we had an issue where it was two signings happening at once. And it was also a split signing. And on one of the docs, the notary shipped them back to escrow instead of the signer, the second part signer. And escrow was really mad. And she said a lot of mean things. So we don't want that situation, right? And we understand it delayed everything one day. So just keep it in mind. Be present when you're shipping documents and working on the labels, and make sure that that label follows the docs that they belong to. And this is an important note. In some areas, it's not possible, but if at all possible, drop docs at a staffed drop-off location where you can obtain a receipt. Some areas that might not be for many miles out, so you have to use a drop box. Make sure that drop box is active by going on the shipping courier site and making sure that it's still on the site. We like you to avoid dropping at Walgreens, CVS, Dollar Tree, Dollar General, Staples. The reason why is sometimes they won't have FedEx come until they get a certain number of packages, which means docs aren't being overnighted. They're sitting at FedEx for a few days, which it's almost like they get lost, right? And sometimes they actually do get lost. So if at all possible, go to a FedEx location, a UPS location. But regardless, always obtain a receipt for shipping. Some notaries get that receipt, scan it, and upload it to the portal of whatever platform they're using. That way they have proof that they dropped it. That's super helpful because of the next slide, which is that FedEx is experiencing an increase in delays and issues. So the first thing is you want to make sure that you use the right size and type of envelope. So what's happening lately is that you drop docs and then they're delayed, and FedEx doesn't give us any information, just that like they're at a hub somewhere. And when you call them, they're not particularly helpful, right? They're like, well, we don't know. They might be in the lost goods section, but we're doing our best to find them. What's happening is that notaries are using the wrong types of envelopes. They're using the letter size cardboard envelope, which breaks and opens up, resulting in docs being scattered all over FedEx trucks and FedEx hubs. So how do you prevent this from happening? Use a reusable sturdy pack. So this is a cardboard envelope, but it's thicker and it's meant for documents over 60 pages. So it's a little sturdier, thus the name sturdy pack, right? And it's not going to open easily. The way that it's made has a higher capacity for documents. It's a lot sturdy, more sturdy than just the regular cardboard envelopes, which do break open. And you can even see it if you're closing a nice big set of loan docs in there. You can actually see the docs because it kind of like bulges out. So make sure to use sturdy packs or the poly packs. So these are the polyurethane packs for shipping. Make sure you use the large packs if you're dealing with legal and letter size paper. And then of course, before shipping off, ensure the package is sealed. So again, that means that you're not going on autopilot. It means when you're shipping your documents and preparing them for shipment, you're really focusing on what you're doing and double checking your work. This is going to prevent these issues with FedEx. So even though it's not your fault if the envelope breaks and FedEx can't find the documents, it's still going to require a re-sign, right? There's still going to be an issue. The file isn't complete because docs didn't get where they need to go. So you can protect the entire transaction by using sturdy packs or the poly packs, which are those polyurethane packs. A quick note, if those aren't on the supply station at FedEx when you walk in, go to the staff and ask for these packs in particular. I've noticed at my local FedEx, they don't put these out there, probably because people will take all of them, like notaries who want a bunch of them in their car, right, or in their office. So they might not keep those out, but they're going to have them behind the counter. So important to ship using these kind of FedEx packages. Okay, let's talk about fee negotiation. So this is something that I've noticed. It's always been kind of an issue, but recently I've seen it a lot. So everyone here most likely is or will be part of the NNA certified. According to the NNA, fee negotiation is to be done before accepting signings. So on that initial confirmation call with the scheduler or the company that's hiring you, that's when you want to negotiate the fees. Now, there are times when fee negotiation after the fact is acceptable, right? If there's an additional signing stipulation, like scanning back documents, hand delivering, or if the location changed perhaps, or the kind of loan changed, that's all acceptable. What we don't want you to do is ask to be reassigned right before the signing because of a fee issue. This is something that's happened to me recently, and it really blows me away. I'll give you an example. We had a signing. Notary had the signing for 4 days, so she scheduled it way in advance. The docs arrived the night before the signing, and total there was about 160 pages for that one borrower's set for signing. And of course, she had to print 2 because you always give the borrower a copy. Her fee was at 90, so that was her initial fee. She wanted 150. We only made 120. So right away, we're losing 25. So I asked our client if we could have a little bit higher fee to accommodate the notary's fee. And the best I could offer her was $135. That's the best I could offer her. And then we're really not making any money, but we're not underwater. So I was happy with that. So I offered that to her. And she said no. She said, I need 150 or I'm not going to do it at all. And it kind of threw me off because we got such a big increase for her. So I was really excited to be able to tell her. And she said that she'd rather make no money than not make 150. And I really couldn't believe that, right? She turned down $135 because of 15 extra dollars. So that's not how we do business. We never tell our clients no. We do their signings for whatever fee that we can get approved by them. And this made me think of what Lisa, the owner, always says, think big picture or think little picture. So her little picture was, I want to make 150 and I'm not willing to sacrifice that extra $15. Big picture would be, okay, I'll take it for 130. And now I've made a partner in Virginia. And Virginia's going to give me all the work in her area because she's a team player. She understands that for this signing, that budget was this amount, and she was willing to negotiate based off of that. She decided not to, and that's how she did business. I even asked her, I said, well, she said she was a full-time notary. I said, I don't know how you're not booking your day solid, over $15. But hey, that's me. That's coast to coast. Of course, you can negotiate however you see fit, but think big picture instead of little picture. Sometimes you sacrifice $15 to gain all of a client's signings. So something to think about. And just to keep in mind, negotiations really should be handled professionally. Sometimes agents, and this happened just this week as well, same thing, it was over like $10, and the agent, we comprised of a third of this agent's work. He said, if you won't accommodate this, find another notary. And he decided he doesn't want to do work with us anymore. So out of the 60 signings he had, he did about 25 with us. And now 25% of his, or a third of his signings are gone from us. So hopefully you'll be able to figure it out. But you don't have to do that, right? Why make that mistake and then have to come back? And this happens all the time. I'm sorry, I'm ready to do more work. It's like, keep the door open for all companies and think of building partnerships with all companies. Don't burn any bridges. You really need as many connections as you can to be successful in this industry. All right, quick reminder on reverse mortgage application signing. So let's briefly talk about what this is. So when you get a reverse mortgage, these loans are targeted towards seniors. So sometimes a lender will hire a notary to get those application docs signed because the borrower maybe doesn't have the ability to print or scan, or just needs help collecting certain items. So these application signings are paid out of pocket for the lender. Even if the loan never goes through, they'll pay for those. So the fees on these are generally small because there's just no money in the budget. It's free service to the signers. a lot of times a notary will get these and then right away they'll see the page count and say, never mind, reassign it, I can't do it. Or they'll want like $200, which we sometimes make $70 on these files. So they don't understand what they are. So when you see or get assigned to an application signing and you see the package size is 250 pages, don't automatically reject it. Look at the docs, because most of the time there's less than 100 pages that need to be signed, and there are no notarizations. And you'll have to look for place markers like these. In the set, there will be a place marker that says signed by borrower, and everything after that is signed by borrower until you get to the borrower's copy. And then the rest is for the borrower's copy. And 98% of the time, you're signing less than 80 pages with the borrower with no notarizations, and the rest you just leave with the borrower. You don't even have to print a second copy to give to the borrower because their copy is built into that 250-page application. So really, it is a small set of docs. Like I said, no notarizations, no Patriot Act. You're just helping people sign and date. So next time you get this and you see the page count and you freak out, which is understandable, look at the docs, look for these page markers. You'll realize that it's actually going to be a really easy, small signing. And remember, you're helping seniors stay in their homes. What a great service that you get to provide, right? So you can feel good about the service that you're providing. All right, real quick reminder on documents related to if there are funds due to the signer. So if borrower is getting money back in the process of doing the loan, the escrow company needs to know how they want that money. Their options are check or wire. If they're choosing check, then they just need to add their address of where they'd like to sign it or get their check sent to them. But most of the time, if it's over maybe say $2,000 or $1,000, wiring is the best option. Do not tell the client how they should do it. Some notaries will say, oh, everybody just chooses check. Don't say that. Let them decide how they want it. Most of the time it's wire. They need to fill out all of the information, including this little sneaky line here, account holder's name. So this is where they'd put the name as it appears on the account they want the money wired. So slow it down when it comes to this. You need to look at the settlement statement to see if money is going to the signer and then have this filled out in its entirety. If you don't, we're going to send you back out to get this filled out if there's money due. So get it done right the first time. Okay, another form that we're getting issues with is the equity payoff letter. So this form is going to accompany a grant deed or a quitclaim deed when someone is being taken off title or ownership of a home. So this is, like I said, this is going to accompany a deed. They need to complete it if the signer that is signing off is getting paid money in exchange for being taken off the title or ownership of the home. So a lot of times it's maybe just between spouses, and one spouse is just giving the property to their other spouse or putting it in their name as their sole and separate property. But sometimes people are getting paid off, right? Maybe you purchased a property with a friend and they're wanting to get off and you're going to pay them a certain amount to buy them out, basically, right? Or maybe it's with an ex-spouse or a divorce situation. So if the signer that's signing off is due no money, then you put zeros in all of these fields. If they are due money, you need to ask them how much, and you can always refer to the settlement statement because it'll have that payoff amount. And they need to put that information here. Actually, today I have another error that I'm waiting to get sent over to me, a correction, because the notary told the borrower, or not the borrower, the signer who was quitting their claim, that they should just put zero. When in fact, that signer is getting $100,000 based off of signing this deed. So it's delaying funding, escrow's angry, notary overstepped, right? Notary overstepped because maybe that's all that notary had ever seen, and it's now causing a delay. What we're having to do is send a new notary out because the signer doesn't want the old notary because they gave them wrong information, right? So it's going to cost us additional money to get this completed because the first notary didn't get it completed correctly. So really, you're not going to know this information. The signer's going to know it. So ask them, are you getting money in the process of signing this deed or transferring that ownership? If yes, fill it out. If no, put zeros, but you must put zeros if there's no money. And it even says that here, note, if there is no equity owed to you, please put zeros in the above spaces. So slow it down when you see this one. All right, and finally, communication. This is what everybody in all of Coast to Coast and all our clients want, is more communication, and really every step of the way. If you're at the signing, are there any issues? Did the borrowers refuse to sign a form? Let us know now, instead of when the docs get back to escrow and escrow's like, why didn't this get signed, right? So keep us in communication the entire signing. If you're not sure how to fill out a form, don't just leave it at that. Ask us. We're going to help you. What if you need to be reassigned an order? What if an emergency happens, or you double booked yourself, or you just simply can't make it? Let us know as soon as you know that you can't make it. Is it regarding a fee? Do you just need more money for it? Give us a call. Another thing that's happened a lot recently is maybe the notary's having trouble printing docs, right? And so instead of calling us and letting us help you, they say, just reassign the file. It's easier for us to help you than it is to reassign most of the time. So communicate with us. What if you forgot to ship docs, like I've done a million times? Let us know. One of our team members said, don't ghost us. When you ghost us, that's only going to result in frustration, and it'll always come back on you. If you just think no one's going to notice, someone's going to notice, right? And ask for a reason. So it's better to just communicate, take accountability, give us the bad news, and we'll fix it. There's always a way to fix it. And this is a big one. When you're assigned to an order, read the entire order. There's a special instructions section, and most of your answer or questions can be answered right in that section, such as scan back requirement, trust signature instructions, and items like that. And then finally, and this is kind of the theme of all of our classes, is that when you work with Coast to Coast, we're your partner, right? This is a partnership. We need you. So the more you treat us that way, and the more that we treat you that way, the better the experience is going to be. So just remember, we're your partner. We're here to help you. That's the purpose of our book, and that's the purpose of our training classes.